What's up, my derps? It's your boy Gregolis, and on today's episode of Cast Guidance, we're going to talk about how to be a better player. All right, go ahead and add a D4 to your ability check, and let's get better at D&D together. Before we begin, don't forget, roll to hit the subscribe button and add an extra attack to the notification bell so you don't miss any awesome content. This seems like an oddly on-the-nose topic because I feel like all of my videos are intended to increase your playership at the table, but I had time to add 5 very specific things that will help make you a better player at any table and increase your connection with those in your session. Here are 5 more tips on how to be a better player in any tabletop role-playing game. Tip 1. Story-driven questions. Any DM will tell you that having a player who asks NPCs story-driven questions is like having a golden egg-laying hen for your group. Having at least one person asking the bartender where they might find a quest item they're searching for, or taking the time to connect with the homeless woman they met just outside of town to find out why she's there, might just open up endless possibilities for the story being unfolded in front of them. A DM who's quick on their feet might fill you in with new side quests, or they might have already prepared a long backstory for a particular character with high hopes of being asked things, only to be deflated when no one does. The player who gets to the table and invests into the world around them will be rewarded with a deeper gaming experience. Now, they just need to remember to take notes. That's why it's tip number 2. Tip 2. Note-taking. If I haven't already said this, I'm sure it'll pop up in other videos. Not enough can be said about taking notes. But not only is it important to take the notes, it's also important to reference them, read them, get into the mindset of your character and revisit the world before and after session. Remind yourself of all the different moving pieces your DM is building for you. This will fuel the ammunition you need to be a strong player for your entire table. Having at least one person who remembers all the NPC names or cities or exact items everyone's received can save the team when they're in dire need. Knowing that a magic item you received may be cursed because your DM told you like 10 sessions ago not to trust anyone with the surname of untrusting will make you invaluable as a player, both for the story and for those at the table. It's a supportive role, and being supportive is really important. That's why it's tip number 3. Tip 3. Be supportive. Ever been in a session where the group knew the main objective but everyone disagreed on how to approach the issue? This analysis paralysis is a common problem at many tables, more common than it should be, and that's where supportive players who don't need to lead actually become leaders by way of supporting the group. Ultimately, there's a balance to be struck among those playing, and sometimes the best thing to do is be the supportive one. That doesn't necessarily mean letting others always have their way, but recognizing and relinquishing your ego in an attempt to let others shine and continue the story forward can be invaluable to the session as a whole. Bickering and arguing can be catastrophic to a campaign if not kept in check. That's why it's important to allow the DM to adjudicate, which leads us to tip 4. Tip 4. Trust your DM. You'd think it's common sense to let the DM make the decision. Being a rules lawyer can be very disruptive to the group and set everyone back to arguing over some points. Once again, analysis paralysis. Trusting the rulings of your DM allows for the story to continue forward, and not arguing with your DM shows them a level of respect that others can follow. One of the best examples of this is watching Travis Willingham play for Matt Mercer. He trusts his decisions and almost, if not never ever, argues the decision. It's fair to say that not all DMs are as familiar with all the rules like Matt is, and it's also fair to gently argue a point or inform your DM of specific. What's not okay is pushing your point in order to get your way all the time. The best players allow the DM to explain their judgment and move on. That's the beauty of the game itself, adaptation. Now for the final and dare I say smartest and easiest thing you can do to be a better player at your table, tip 5. Tip 5. Combat role-playing. It's really that simple. Want to surprise your DM and your table? Instead of simply saying, "I'll attack," take the time to roleplay into your combat. Describe how you'll attack. Explain how you want to swing your axe across the Achilles heel of the hill giant to try and immobilize it. Or take a second to call out across the field of battle at your band of champions to warn of the impending reinforcements, instead of waiting for the DM to do it. Narrating your own actions in combat is guaranteed to make you the star of the show. It's really just that simple. So let's quickly recap the top 5 tips to being a better player in any tabletop role-playing game session. Ask your story-driven questions, especially to NPCs. Take notes and reference them. Follow the story. Be supportive rather than be the leader, analysis paralysis. Trust the DM's rulings. learn to adapt, and role-play in combat. Keep coming at me with your ideas on how to be better at the table. This is something we're going to grow together. Feel free to message me directly at Gregolis Designs on all platforms, or leave a comment below and I'll do my best to respond. As always, don't forget, D&D isn't a game you win. Let's cast guidance on each of our tables to enhance each other's experiences. Thanks, Derps. See you next week with more from me, your boy Gregolis. Hey Derps, thanks for watching. We're trying really hard to build this channel up, so if you could give us a subscribe, that would be really helpful and appreciated. This community matters to us, and we want to hear your voice. Let us know what you liked or didn't like, and let's chat in the comments. Also, don't forget to check me out playing D&D on the D&D show every other Sunday. The link should be somewhere over here, or here, or here. Thanks!